Everyone, so this week, week 3, we went over a lot of things, and I'm gonna be pretty much showing you guys what we went over, also what we built this week, so what our project was, and obviously, of course, my kind of take on this week, how I felt was challenging, was it a little bit easier than last week. I'll give you guys that information too. But before I get started, I want to also just talk about what this video is about as far as the title. So if you haven't been catching up on the previous videos, this is a part of a series of 4 videos that I'll be doing, and it's part of a 1-month JavaScript course that I'm taking right now on onemonth.com. And if you guys want to check out onemonth.com, you can pretty much go to onemonth.com, and from there you'll be able to see that they offer a lot of courses, coding, but also they just released some Bitcoin ones too that you guys can check out. And it's pretty much courses that take a place over a period of 30 days. And you get an instructor, some assignments each week, and by the end of those 30 days, you should be a lot more comfortable with that topic or subject, whether it be coding or not. So really recommend you guys check them out. I'll leave a link down below with the 20% off link that you guys can use towards a membership or course. And of course, let me know if you guys do sign up. I'd love to know your progress on the course that you choose. And I'll also mention that part of the membership and the course that you buy, you also get a community Slack channel where you can go ahead and ask questions to the TAs, but also interact with other students that are taking the same course as you. So let's go ahead and get started. This week was week 3, and we actually worked with the SoundCloud API. If you guys don't know, SoundCloud isn't allowing anymore. Well, they are allowing it, but it takes like a month or so for you to get an API key. So you can register for it, but it takes a really long time to get one. So for this specific course, we had to use the API key provided by the course in the video, so it made it a lot easier. We didn't have to like pretend we were using an API key or like skip the project because we couldn't. So we still were provided with an API key, and we were still able to do that project using the API key provided in that video. We use this developers.soundcloud.com guide to pretty much show us what we needed to do to get those artists and display them on a page. So I'll go really quickly, show you guys the finished project, and that's right here. So this is how it looks in the end. And right now, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Okay, cool. So you got pretty much, once you visit it, it's going to show up with the random artists. Right here on the left-hand side is going to be a sidebar that pretty much allows you to keep track of any added songs that you want. So if I search an artist, for example, Blink-182, search that up, and I click on Add to Playlist, it's going to start playing, so hopefully it's not too loud. All right, I paused it. So you go ahead and search an artist. This pretty much goes to Spotify, gets that artist, and displays all the songs under that artist name. And displays it all here, as you can see. And when you click on this Add to Playlist button, it'll show up on this sidebar on the left. And if we open up Inspect, I'll show you guys this part because it's pretty cool. You'll see that it pulls up an array, and the array pretty much shows you each track that it's pulling. And if you open that up, you'll get different information about that specific card here. So gives you the date that it was created, description. It gives you the duration, the permalink URL, and this is the URL that takes you to that song. So I can open it up, and it'll take us to that SoundCloud page. Right. So it's this page right here. So that's pretty cool. Another cool feature that we added was a clear cache. So we're using local storage for this. And what local storage essentially does is that it allows you to add a ton of different playlists that will pop up on this left-hand side here. And as you add them, and let's say you move away from the page and you come back to it maybe tomorrow or the next day, essentially you still should have these songs on your sidebar that you added. So that's what local storage does. It keeps those cookies and that cache saved in your browser. If you do revisit it, you already have that populated. And we installed a clear cache button, which pretty much allows you to clear that local storage. So just in case you want to start fresh or whatever it may be, that's available to you. And you can clear cache, and I'll show you guys. If you clear cache here, it reloads the page and it goes ahead and clears up that sidebar on the left. I'll show you guys the code really quick, and that's pretty much it for this video. A really cool project. never really worked with the API for SoundCloud or the API for Giphy, which was week 2. So it's really interesting that I'm getting to be able to play around with these APIs that I wouldn't have probably have touched it this month because I was just learning other things relating to JavaScript. So I'll show you guys the code really quick, and I'll pull it up here. In the code, we got a really simple file. So we got a simple index.html, which pretty much creates our layout. This does not include the cards. You actually created the cards via JavaScript, so they're dynamic. And that pretty much means that depending on how many results you get, it'll generate a card for each of those. So if we had hard-coded those into our HTML, we could have had maybe extra cards that we didn't cover in our hard-coded HTML cards, and those cards wouldn't know where to go. The app would probably crash. So in the actual HTML file, we have the layout, so the sidebar, the input button, the go button, and as well as the clear cache button. And then if you go to your JavaScript here, before we started, we mapped it out. So we said what we had to do, and that's a really good practice to do when you're building something. So kind of put everything in just text. So like the first step is this, first second step is that, and that way your mind is a little bit more organized, and that way you're able to know where you want to start and where you want to finish. We queried the API using SoundCloud.api .init, and this is taken from the documentation, and this pretty much initializes a new connection with the API, and then we put different values for getting the actual track. And for the query, we set it as input value, so this is whatever value is inputted into that search box by the surfer or whoever's on the site. Here's where I said that we actually are rendering the cards via JavaScript. So this is creating the card right here, this card section snippet. This creates the image inside, and for the image, if that card does not have an album artwork, for example, instead of letting it just show white, we're actually using Lorem Pixel. I also added a link that takes you to the permalink, which I showed you guys, and that pretty much takes you to that SoundCloud page for that song. And the button, so the button adds a playlist. You appended everything as append child. And if we move down, we have the add to playlist and play kind of section of code. And this area essentially lets you, when you click add to playlist, it moves that over to your sidebar. And if you click a new song, it'll bump that new song to the top. So every time we add a new song, it'll be put up to the top and to the top and to the top. So that's what this pretty much does. And then we added again here the local storage and the local storage right here to allow us to save those cookies. But also if you were to clear that, click that clear cache button, that'll also go through as clean everything out. This week, pretty challenging, I will say. I think each week has gotten progressively more challenging, which I think you expect. The more deeper you get into a language, the more detailed and intricate it becomes. So using different things like functions and for each, class list, which I hadn't used before, was new. Append child I hadn't used before. And it's actually really interesting to see how it all comes together, because this is all written out like on your own. Like you're not really copying this from anybody. Like you're just going in like, hey, I want to build this app and this is what I have to do. And I have to write all the code to create the functionality. So that's something that I'm still wrapping my head around sometimes. Like from the ground up, you're going to build something and all that code is going to be yours. Of course, you have Stack Overflow and different resources, which is really awesome to use. There were some points where I was banging my head against the keyboard because I was just like, what is going on right now? But once it all comes together and you're able to reproduce it and do it on your own without the tutorial, it kind of like sets in, and that's the really, really fulfilling part of coding. So don't give up, you guys. If you are coding, it might get hard at times. It's still hard for me, and I'm still learning. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and if you guys have any questions about this course or coding in general, please leave a comment down below. I'd be glad to go ahead and help you guys out with anything that I can. And of course, please check out onemonth.com. Really cool guys over there, really cool team, and I'll leave a link to them down below. See you guys.